Newfound Gold is a really exciting explorer in Newfoundland. We've made one of Canada's most exciting, we think, gold discoveries in a very, very long time. Exceptionally high grade, and pretty close to the city of Gander. We're about 15 minutes outside of town, right on the side of the Trans-Canada Highway. Couldn't ask for a better location. Grade is phenomenal, and just an unbelievably large land package with tons of potential. So we're exploring it aggressively and with one of the industry's largest and most aggressive drilling campaigns. And yeah, it's a really exciting story to be a part of, and one that's really fun for investors to watch and participate in. Yeah, the property is situated just outside of Gander. It's about 70 kilometers long by about 25 kilometers wide. We've been focused on the Keats North section, or the Appleton North section, I should say, of the Queensway North portion of the project, which is about 9.5 kilometers of strike. And there's mineralization up to 500 meters on either side of the fault. And so we've been basically peppering that with drill holes, and we're trying to define the shallowest profile of mineralization there first before we start to get deeper into some of the deeper stuff. Yeah, so the discovery was made. We looked at other orogenic systems in the world, and this one was really exciting because it was part of this sewing up of the Iapetus Ocean. So basically the African plate crashing together with North American plate. And this is a really important margin because it extends from the UK all the way down to Alabama, basically from Scotland down to Alabama. And historically in other jurisdictions, we've had world-class prolific discoveries been made over centuries and mines along this macro geological feature. And we saw that feature crossing Newfoundland, and it was pretty much void of claims. There wasn't a whole lot of action there. One of the larger companies in Newfoundland called Marathon Gold had made a discovery at Valentine Lake on the southern side of the island. And that was pretty new in the last cycle. And so we said, well, you know, there's going to be more orogenic deposits on the island, certainly. And we noticed that one of the main breaks, called the Dog Bay Line, was pretty much open for business. And so we staked the whole thing and acquired some core claims from prospectors and stitched that together and bolted it into our larger strategy, and did all types of geochemistry, geophysics, all the cart before horse, or sorry, horse before cart workup to vector in on the best areas, and Goldspot played a big role with that early on. And like that, we came up with Keats as our maiden discovery. So the Chrysos lab is actually operational as we speak. So MSA Labs in Val-d'Or, I believe. And we've been already shipping samples off to them. And in fact, we've gotten a good portion of them back already. So we're starting to ramp up our work with that lab. So stay tuned for news on that, but it's looking very, very encouraging. My advice for new retail investors to get into this space, it sounds cliche, but to get educated, do their research, look at opportunities, and look at companies that are not necessarily just dusting off something old. Grade plays a big role, so stay focused on grade. Size, can you fit a mine? Can you fit multiple mines on a land package? A lot of times there's a lot of stories floating around that are limited in scope, and they may have limited land packages, and so they may have really good mineralization, but they may be limited in how big that can actually be. So I think one of the main things that drives exploration is speculative value and the ability for the market to speculate that something can be really big. And I think in order to have that, you need to have something big. You need to have a large land package, and also look at companies that are well financed, and companies that have been able to raise large amounts of capital, because capital means drill holes means news means a positive share price move in many cases, and you can't possibly have a stock move without news. And so those that make the most noise will get the most participation in those stocks. And so storytelling plays a big role in that. So I would look at stories that sing to you, buy me now, because if you miss this opportunity to buy me, then you might not be able to get me in the future at this price. And so companies that are poised to take advantage of their situation and generate news and get out there and really have some sort of transformative change in the short time horizon is something that should be interesting for an investor looking for value. My first ever investment, I was a geologist. I was working in Norway for a company called Blackstone Ventures, and I invested in Blackstone. And it was a nickel exploration company. It was basically exploration assets spun out of Falconbridge, which was a large company that got taken over at the time. And yeah, it was, that was my maiden voyage into resource investing. The next 12 months for NFG is really exciting. We've got a ton of drill holes. So we're ramping up our drill holes now. We've got about 14 operating rigs at the moment, and we're drilling off the shallow horizon on that entire 9.5 kilometer lead stretch of the Appleton. We're also going down 70 kilometers south and tackling some of our greenfields exploration targets on the southern portion. So that's very exciting. What you can expect to see from Newfound, hopefully, is finding more mineralization that glues some of these higher grade initial areas together. Hopefully the discovery of new zones and new high grade zones akin to what we've got at Keats. We're tackling the west side of the fault, which we've never done before. We've always been stuck on the east. And so that's a really exciting venture into the unknown for us. And then hopefully soon we'll have approval on our massive seismic survey, which is really an industry first, specifically in Canada on this scale. And that's going to basically give us a lot of information to be able to sharpshooter drilling, hopefully moving forward at deeper depths on this project.